Hi guys, my name is Tawani Kumal and welcome to the CMO Corner, the short edition, all the way here at the Nedbank IMC conference. And I've got a good man here, Matthew Boo.
Well, we don't know about that.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you. Great to
How are
be
you?
here. Thank you. I'm very good. Thank you. Very good.
Super. So I want to touch on something that you're going to be speaking about.
Yes.
You're one of the guests I want to chat to because when I saw your theme or your topic, kind of intrigued me. So if I read it verbatim, it says creating a creating culture.
Yes.
And you're going to share some principles and processes that you've implemented that have helped other businesses, I guess, live this. So, and I did a bit of stalking.
You did?
Yeah. So I was before we get to all the meats, one thing you say is you're quite simple, you love change, but as long as you can stay the same.
Yes, that is true.
Why is that?
I think what I mean by that is, I think your principles are everything in life.
Yeah.
And, your principles, you sort of get embedded in you through your upbringing.
Yeah.
And not just from your parents, but, the society you're in,
Yeah.
the people you hang out with. And if you're lucky enough, you find values that are actually really strong and really good for you. And then you keep those core values. But you must always look to broaden your horizons.
Yeah.
You must always look to explore different things, try different things, as long as you always keep your core values. So that's really what it is. So I like change.
Yeah.
But the one thing I won't change are my principles and my values.
Love that. What are your values, if I may ask?
I believe in credit. I believe the most important thing in life, the most valuable thing in life is loyalty.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about honesty and transparency and all those sorts of things. So, but I think it's, to me, loyalty is the most important thing because, in essence, loyalty drives behavior.
Yeah.
So if I'm really loyal to someone, if you do something, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. So in essence, loyalty doesn't just have to be to people. It can be to causes.
Yeah.
It can be again to principles. So loyalty is my really big thing. And also, I think part of it is sticking with people. You find your true friends when trouble comes.
That's true.
And that's why you need loyal friends around you.
Love it. Cool. So let's talk about this concept or the theme that you're going to be addressing.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I want to, and you've kind of touched on it a bit, but maybe you can expand. I want you to touch on why you believe we should embrace change in the working world as marketers. Because I want to understand what's on the other side of the change or what's on the other side of the discomfort. Because it's also not comfortable, right?
No, look, as I will say in my talk a little bit later on, creativity to me is the thing that powers progress. And in essence, creativity at its core is to change, it's to do something different, it's to evolve something, whether it's art or whether it's designing a motor vehicle or whatever. Creativity provokes change. And I think that without creativity, you have no progress, and without progress, you die. Now, whether that's a species, whether a species can adapt to the changing environment, and species includes humankind. Can we adapt to changing environments? Is it a company?
Yeah.
Can a company adapt to a changing environment? So you would use a great example like Kodak.
Yeah.
Kodak forgot that the business they were in was pictures.
True.
What they thought they were was film. But they
Yes.
weren't. They were in recording memories and pictures.
True.
So that when the digital revolution came along, because they'd forgotten that, they couldn't change and adapt and evolve. So that to me is the most essential thing for a business and for a person and for a community and for a country and for a world.
Yeah. And you touch on two companies, and I hope you're going to expand on it a bit here. Because you've almost highlighted these companies as a blueprint of, I guess, creating that culture. Why these two companies, and what have they done well?
Well, first of all, they're the two companies I've worked for 8 years now. Well, AB InBev for 8 years,
Yeah.
SAB in South Africa, and Kraft Heinz for the last 4 years. And just
Lovely.
it's serendipity, really. I've worked on AB InBev business for years and years and years. In the UK, I worked on Stella Artois. In South Africa, I had Hansa
Lovely.
Pilsner and stuff. So, I have a deep relationship with the companies and the people within that company.
Yeah.
I think then that what happens after that is that now they then brought me into the company. They asked me to help them on their journey from to becoming a more creative company. So I always say to people, I'm certainly not, I'm part of the cause. Obviously I have some effect in it, but more like I'm a symptom. When you are a creative person that's worked in advertising your whole life, and a giant big corporation, beer company, and then food company turn around and say, we want you in here to provoke change and to help us change and become more innovative and more creative. It's just, it's an incredibly lucky thing for me to have happened.
Brilliant.
So those two companies, it's really not by design. I had relationships with the people inside them, and they invited me in.
And what would you say is what is embedded in that process of creating a creating culture?
So, one of the things that I strongly believe is that creativity is a dynamic process, but it's quite a brutal process. And, coming from the advertising business, you work with an art director, you talk all the time about ideas, but you don't agree all the time on those ideas. And I give you an idea and you tell me it's bad, and but what you do in that dynamic conversation is you are progressing, because the conflict is positive, because it has to be positive, because you have to have an outcome. So what I try and do inside the companies is really encourage positive conflict. Talk about the idea. Don't attack the human, attack the idea. Interrogate the idea, see if the idea has got the strength and stamina to survive out there in the real world. So a lot of what happens on the client side is, certainly when I arrived, is we are quite afraid of two things. Number one, trusting our intuition about ideas. And so we tend to say we go into maybe land versus yes or no. And of course, yes or no are the perfect answers for creative people, because then they know where they stand. Okay, they don't want to hear no, but
they never do.
They get it. And the second, so to me, just really trying to encourage them to trust their intuition, I think is an essential part of the business going forward. And I've forgotten my other thought now, because that's what happens every now and again.
Yeah, that's fine. So if I think about AB InBev, I'll take them as an example. They've done amazing work.
Yes.
I'm not saying this just because you're sitting here. I think their work is amazing.
Okay.
And I say this because it's got some form of impact. And whether it is awards, which people see, but these businesses have sustained growth.
Yes.
Even if you read their reports.
Sure.
Which shows that there's an element, yes, there's a business side, but you don't neglect the creating culture.
Yeah. Look, I feel very strongly about this. I will talk about this later.
Yeah.
Creativity has a purpose.
Okay,
it has a purpose, regardless of what field you're in. In the business of marketing, creativity's purpose is to sell. Okay, it is to build relationships with consumers in which you can tell them about something new, or remind them why you need to buy the product, or cajole them into it, or inspire them into doing it. So to me, results are everything in the business. And then that makes me proud of creativity. When I'm not proud of creativity is when I do something and I create it and I hang it on my wall in my room and I'm the only person to have seen it. And it becomes an indulgent pursuit.
True.
It's a rewarding pursuit for a person, but to me, for myself personally, it's only rewarding when we achieve the business goals. The creativity is actually set to fuel an arm. It's really simple for me. Do I love the fact that we've won lots of trophies and awards? Of course I do. I love them because it's important for us as a business. It's motivating. It's inspiring. It's attractive.
Yes.
But it's not a hollow victory.
Yeah.
It's a victory. It's the cherry on a beautiful, delicious cake that the business has made.
Yeah. And would you say, think about it, just off the top of your head, what are some of those quantifiable results that you received from, I guess, again, the beautiful work that these two companies have done?
I think what we've done really well is we've taken some brands at both companies that were losing their way, and in fact had become history.
Yeah.
And we said, what are those things that have made these brands really successful in the past? And if you want to rejuvenate a brand, go and find out what made it great in the first place. Then take whatever made it great in the first place and bring it back into the world in a modern, contemporary way. And I think we've done an outstanding job of that. I think, look at Kraft, Heinz and what we've done on Velveeta cheese. Incredible job. I look at what we're doing on Heinz. Incredible job. Over at ABI, look at what we've done with Corona, with Stella Artois. I just see, the power of creativity working, because it's a rejuvenation. It's like, you ever see the movie Cocoon, where really old people all of a sudden got really young? That's what marketing can do for really old brands.
That's brilliant. And the debate is always, do you want to tie back into heritage? And what I'm getting from you is just understand the DNA.
Yeah.
And then almost bring the DNA in a future sense or
That's
perspective.
Right. That's exactly right.
Because the fear is always, do people really want to go back to the past?
No, they don't. But you can be inspired by the past, and this is the truth of life. We are inspired by the past. What gets South Africans through everything that they've got to endure? Well, the fact that they've got through it before. Some pretty horrific times.
True.
They've seen their way through it because they've had hope, resilience, power, strength. But the history of the country is the thing that will determine the future. If you look at the history of the country in a positive way, not in all the ugly things that happened, but the fact that we conquered the ugly things. So for me with brands is, let's not look at the bad things that happened to it. Let's look at what made it wonderful. Let's bring that wonder back into the world again, but speak in the language of the modern day consumer, not of the consumer in the 60s and 70s and 80s.
So what's in store for these two businesses or brands now coming up? Because you're at the helm, brother, and I'm looking at you now, and I'm saying you've done stellar work. What's coming up?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not at the helm. I'm in the privileged position of being I'm like the grandfather.
Okay,
the grandfather is the person that sits there and the kids come running to the grandfather when there's something going on. That they're worried about and they can't talk to their parents or their bosses about it. So grandfather can give them advice and wisdom, etc. about it. So that's the first thing. So I really consider my role to be a role of helping, encouraging, supporting people, and truly just trying to make good things happen. I think for our companies, there's two things. Obviously, AB InBev, we are incredibly powerful, incredibly successful, but there's a lovely humility about AB InBev because they don't think they've made everything they need to make. So we are pushing forward to make better things, better products, a better world for people. And it's incredible to see that energy and power.
After a decade of mergers and acquisitions, the world's biggest brewer faced a challenge. The tap on deal-making had run dry, and AB InBev had to fundamentally reimagine how to grow. Instead of buying brands, the company would now have to grow by building them.
So, Creative X was born, a top-to-bottom transformation program to put creativity at the center of our business. We powered it with a common language to make creativity flow.
Creative brain trusts with outside experts to take ideas further, global awards to celebrate them.
Then launched a global marketing academy to cultivate new skill, a new culture and capabilities function to champion the change around the globe. And finally, our own in-house agency to bring the new creativity home.
A new creative culture took hold, transforming everything from how our products are sourced to how they are sold and experienced.
It led us to transform agriculture with a revolutionary contract for change to help farmers make the transition to organic.
To transform small mom-and-pop retailers in Latin America into a network for e-commerce so they could thrive in the pandemic.
We even transformed the barley waste from brewing into a plant-based protein, turning what was once considered trash into treasure for a more sustainable future.
The Creative X Factor also gave a new mission to our marketing.
From reinventing the fan experience to creating powerful voices and solutions for change.
The creativity got our business growing again. Sales volumes reached an all-time high.
With $5 billion generated from innovation alone. And for the first time, AB InBev joined the ranks of the world's most innovative companies.
The creative world took notice too. Our effectiveness hit #1, and we were even named Cannes Creative Marketer of the Year.
The transformation proved something more, that it's never too late to reinvent yourself, and that it's possible to brew creativity in addition to great beer.
Kraft Heinz has come from a place where it was in a bad place before the brilliant Miguel Patricio took over. And we have transformed the company. It's all about innovation. It's all about creativity. We are catching up with food trends, and we are leading with food trends as well. And again, our creativity and marketing is leading the way. So it's inspiring the whole company to be innovative and creative. So you'll see some of the products coming out from Kraft Heinz are unbelievable. And under our new stewardship of Carlos Abrams Rivera, I mean, the energy in the company, you know, Miguel's the chairman now, Carlos is the CEO, is just incredible. There's a youthful vitality about a company that's hundreds of years old. So that's amazing.
Ketchup, ketchup, running way over my head.
Heinz.
This is one of the world's great mysteries.
The
company is shaking up its labels.
Ha! It works! I'm about to do the ketchup puzzle.
Heinz has made a 570-piece ketchup puzzle that's just the color red.
You want me to draw ketchup?
Okay.
That's mustard.
Yeah.
Heinz has started a petition to put the same number of hot dogs and buns in packages. Yes.
10 for 10.
I like things matching.
10 wieners, 10 buns.
A fan posted Taylor Swift was eating a piece of chicken with ketchup and seemingly ranch. People love Heinz ketchup so much.
We gotta meet this marketing turnaround I think I've ever seen. Of Heinz ketchup. We're just driving slow.
Thank you. Thank you, Heinz.
No, thank you for your time.
My pleasure,
Thank
buddy.
you for sharing everything.
My pleasure.
And I
People
hope you're
keep
gonna
running in and asking me for my autograph. 'Cause, I used to play for Manchester United, so it's.
No, man.
It's
Thank you
great.
so much, and thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you for your time.
Cheers,
and thanks
man.
to the guys over here doing all the work. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Lovely, man.
Good
Thank
man.
you so much.
There you go. It's done. You see it's in the back.
Done.